Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 18th of January up until the 24th to see if there's anything releasing worth your time and money. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out. Let's start with one game that has already released but wasn't ever in one of these videos, and that's Freedom Wars Remastered. So Freedom Wars first released back in 2014 on the PlayStation Vita and has now seen a remastered version come to the Switch as well as other consoles and Microsoft Windows. It's a third-person action game that can be played with friends both locally or online as you look to dominate the battlefield. This remastered version includes re-rendered graphics, high-resolution textures, models and interface, added difficulty level settings and an overhauled weapon crafting system. This released about a week ago and it sells for £32.99 if you are interested, and there is another edition, the Contribution Edition, with some extra bits thrown in that sells for £39.99. Let's move on to the games coming out this week then, and the first of those is the Tale of Bistun. This is based on a poem from the 12th century, Khosrow and Shirin if I've said that correctly, and is a tale of love, loss and adventure through a land where magic and bravery collide, so says the blurb. It goes on to say that it tells the story of an amnesiac stone carver on his journey up the slopes of the intimidating Mount Bistun, and he'll have to battle legions of monstrous foes using fast-paced melee combat and powerful magic attacks as he explores the real world and the mysterious place of forgotten memories known as the Revelations Realm. It says you'll be battling hordes of dangerous foes using fast-paced tactical melee combat as you ascend the deadly slopes of the mountain. This one releases on the 21st and it will sell for £14.49 or your regional equivalent. Next then we have Magnolia Bloom in the Mist, which is a dark fantasy 2D side-scrolling action RPG. It says you'll be venturing through the desolate land of fumes, trying to save both humans and homunculi, and you'll come across abandoned cities, discover laboratories, a grand sorcerer's academy, and much more. So this is a sequel to Ender Lilies, which came out a couple of years ago on the Switch. In fact, it was 2021. Wow, time really does fly. It's set in the same world as its predecessor, as you go on that quest to purify the corrupted homunculi as I mentioned a minute ago. This releases on the 22nd if you are interested, and it sells for £20.99 or again your regional equivalent.
When the magic buried beneath the surface became corrupted, the citizens fled upward to escape its reach. But those who lacked power and wealth remained abandoned below.
Also this week is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. This is a remaster of a game that first released on the PlayStation and was later on the Dreamcast and the Game Boy Advance. It says you'll be jumping into side-scrolling action in the Star Wars galaxy playing as Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn and a few others, who I'll be honest, names I can't pronounce, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. Or it says you can play as one of the previously locked characters such as Darth Maul, Queen Amidala and again a few more. You can battle side by side with a companion in 2-player couch co-op for the 10-level campaign plus some mini-games, and you can use classic or motion control schemes, toggle your lightsaber colours to match the films, and even enter cheat codes such as Big Head mode, discovering more surprises in this 25th anniversary celebration according to the blurb. This is not a game I've played before. As I said, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I didn't like Episode 1 a whole lot when it first released. I remember seeing it back in the day, although I do have a better appreciation for it these days to be fair. This will sell for £17.99, but you can get 10% off of that price up until launch day, which is the 23rd. Also this week then we have Ravensworth, a top-down roguelite action game in which you play as heroes of tales and legends that must slay hordes of nightmarish creatures. This comes from the same team that created Curse of the Dead Gods, another game that's on the Switch, and it says they've returned with an improved formula and an addictive game experience with endless replay value. It can be played either solo or with up to 4 players in co-op, and there are 9 heroes, each with a unique twist and individual gameplay, including Little Red Riding Hood, who suffers from lycanthropy, Sun Wukong, the Fallen Monkey King, the Snow Queen with her evil powers, and many other familiar characters who have a darker side. It says there are 3 open maps and you'll need to help the inhabitants of Reverie such as the 3 Little Pigs, Sinbad the Sailor and Morgan the Fairy. There are over 200 talents, 50 magical items and endless build combinations and randomly generated maps with a wide variety of activities according to the blurb. It also says there'll be regular updates which will add new free content as time goes on, and it releases on the 23rd for £26.99 if you are interested.
First is the trait, a hero's core mechanic that defines their gameplay. For instance, Scarlet transforms into the wolf at night, Beowulf carries a worm that empowers his next attacks, Aladdin can call the genie of the lamp. Then we have Guilty Gear Strive, Nintendo Switch Edition. This first released in 2021 in arcades and for the PS4, PS5 and Windows before coming to the Xbox One in 2023. It says you'll experience the over 6-hour Guilty Gear Strive main story as you play, and there's also what's called another story, which is a full-length story cinematic that follows what's been occurring in the background of the game's main story. There are 28 playable characters and online battles which uses rollback netcode, and it says this version fully embraces the ability for fiery battles across the Switch's TV mode, tabletop mode or handheld mode. It's another game that releases on the 23rd if you are interested, and it will sell for £49.99 or your regional equivalent. There is Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection coming out this week, which the blurb states is an epic reimagining of the cult ARPG, now with stunning 3D graphics and completely revamped gameplay. It says you'll return to the world of Sword of the Necromancer like never before. It's a 3D remake of that original game, completely reimagined with new graphics and gameplay mechanics. It promises a fluid and dynamic combat system, the ability to customise your summons with the tactics system, remastered soundtrack and new themes, and infinite replayability owing to the procedurally generated dungeons. So this first released on Switch in 2021 and was a top-down action game similar to the classic Zeldas in terms of its style, but as I mentioned a minute ago, this is a new game based on that original remade in 3D. It's out on the 23rd and it will sell for £20.
Tell me, young lady, what reasons could possess you to enter my crypt?
I will bring Coco back, no matter the cost.
And finally for the week then we have Achilles Legends Untold. This is an action RPG with Souls-like combat according to the blurb, where you'll explore the mythical world of ancient Greece, where you'll assume the role of the fearless warrior Achilles. It says you'll dive into a world where mastering combat is key to survival, and you'll need to block and evade attacks, then sever the limbs and the heads of your foes. It promises various weapon combinations. You can wield 2 axes, a spear and a shield, a 2-handed sword for example, and character development via a skill tree. There's also a crafting system where you'll collect loot and use this to create items, and an open world to explore. I do love any game that uses ancient Greece as its setting. I remember the first game I ever bought for my Xbox 360 was a game called Rise of the Argonauts, despite all of the other options available. I'll keep half an eye on this for that reason alone. If you are also slightly intrigued, it's out on the 23rd and it will sell for £19.99 or your regional equivalent.
Become a warrior who will defy God.
So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of those games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can use our website switchup.gg, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback to then use against a future purchase, and doing so does help the channel out, which is very much appreciated. If you're looking for something else to watch, my latest video on my other channel, GB Bricks, has just released. It's a Lego based channel, and I've just done a review of one of the new January 2025 sets, being 60443, the F1 Pit Stop and Pit Crew. There'll be a card to that in the top right hand corner if you want to give that a watch. Thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.